You are the chosen one. You didn't just stumble upon this message. It wasn't by chance. Heaven itself orchestrated this very moment for you. Before you even opened your eyes this morning, before you reached for your phone, before your finger ever landed on this precise spot to scroll, the divine already knew you needed to hear the words that are about to be spoken over your life. So take a deep breath. You're exactly where you're supposed to be right now. Listen intently, chosen one, because everything you've been carrying, everything that's been causing you confusion, everything that's been keeping you up at night, making you question everything you thought you knew about people, about yourself, about God's divine plan for your life, it's all about to make perfect sense. And I truly mean all of it. The betrayal that completely blindsided you, the people who were watching when you thought you were all alone, the subtle investigation you could sense happening in the shadows, the hushed whispers, the seeds of doubt that were planted in places you once considered safe and sacred. You felt it, didn't you? That unsettling awareness, that prickling feeling that someone was meticulously digging into your life, carefully measuring your every step, meticulously cataloging your choices, all while patiently waiting for you to stumble and fall. They were actively looking for darkness, relentlessly searching for hypocrisy, fully expecting to find the flaws and cracks that would somehow validate their preconceived judgments of you. But here's what heaven urgently wants you to know right now. And I need you to hear this deep within your spirit, with every fiber of your being. They didn't find what they were so desperately looking for. Let that reality truly sink in for a moment. They came armed with suspicion, but instead, they found your heartfelt prayers. They came looking for hidden secrets, but instead, they discovered your unwavering faithfulness. They came to expose your perceived weaknesses, but instead, they stumbled upon your quiet, resilient strength. The kind of strength that doesn't loudly announce itself or seek validation from others. The kind of strength that only grows in that sacred, secret place between you and your Creator. See, what the enemy intended for your utter destruction is actually becoming the very thing that will unequivocally vindicate you before all the people who doubted you. And it's not just going to vindicate you. This situation is going to profoundly transform the very people who came against you in the first place. But we're getting a little ahead of ourselves here. Let's rewind back to where this entire process started, because you truly need to deeply understand the divine setup that has been carefully unfolding in your life. You've been confused, I know you have. There were challenging seasons where you seriously questioned if you had truly heard God correctly, if you were genuinely called to this path, if maybe you had somehow done something wrong to deserve the isolation and the intense testing. You looked around at others and saw them prospering and thriving, while you felt like you were constantly being pruned and refined. You watched people with only half of your integrity seemingly get opportunities that seemed to consistently pass you by. And all the while, there was this persistent, nagging feeling that you were constantly being watched, being judged, being measured against some unknown standard that you couldn't quite grasp. That feeling wasn't just paranoia. It was actually keen perception. You were, in fact, being watched. But here's the crucial part that the enemy completely failed to calculate, the game-changing element that's about to shift everything. God was watching too. And while human eyes were actively searching for any reasons to condemn you, divine eyes were diligently gathering compelling evidence for your ultimate defense. Every single morning you managed to get up and pray when you felt like completely giving up, recorded. Every single time you consciously chose integrity when compromise would have been so much easier, meticulously documented. Every single tear you cried in secret, cataloged. Every single moment you blessed when you had every conceivable right to curse, filed away securely in heaven's courts as irrefutable evidence of who you truly are at your core. The very investigation that was intended to expose you is now about to ultimately exalt you. Can you feel that profound shift? Even as these words wash over your spirit, something is undeniably changing in the atmosphere surrounding your life right now. This isn't just simple motivation. This isn't just fleeting encouragement. This is a powerful, prophetic declaration over your identity and your current season. What was once hidden is now being revealed, not to shame you in any way, but to definitively vindicate you. See, chosen one, you absolutely need to understand something fundamental about divine orchestration. When God allows you to be thoroughly scrutinized, when heaven permits the investigator to closely examine your life, it's absolutely not because your darkness needs to be exposed. It's because your brilliant light is finally about to illuminate spaces that have been shrouded in darkness for far too long. And before that light can be unleashed at its full, glorious intensity, it has to be proven to be absolutely genuine. They looked diligently for compromise, but instead, they found unwavering conviction. They fully expected to find you secretly living in private the very things that you outwardly condemned in public. Instead, they discovered unwavering consistency. Private devotion perfectly matching public declaration. A vibrant prayer life that didn't simply perform for an audience. A strong character that didn't change or waver based on who was watching. And here's where the story takes a truly beautiful turn. Where the divine plot twist leaves even the angels in absolute awe. The very person who investigated you is now being irresistibly drawn to the very thing they discovered within you. Your unwavering light didn't just expose their hidden intentions. It illuminated a brand new path that they didn't even realize they were searching for deep down. The steadfast faith they found when they dug deep into your life, the powerful prayers they uncovered, the genuine and authentic relationship with the divine that you've been quietly cultivating in secret. It's all pulling them, almost magnetically, toward the very same God that you serve with such passion. This is true vindication at a profound level that most people will never experience in their entire lives. God isn't just defending you here. Heaven is actively converting your betrayer into your most powerful testimony. The one who came to dig up dirt is now being miraculously transformed by the priceless treasure that they unexpectedly found instead. And you, chosen one, you're about to witness something so powerful that it will forever cement your faith. You're going to witness heaven defending you without you even having to utter a single word. Now, let me speak directly to what you're likely feeling right now, because I know there's a part of you, a very human part, that wants justice served immediately and piping hot. There's a part of you that desperately wants everyone who ever doubted you, everyone who whispered behind your back, everyone who came against you in any way to publicly apologize, to openly admit that they were completely wrong, to truly feel the full weight of what they put you through. That's human nature. That's perfectly normal. But it's not what's being asked of you in this very moment. Here's what heaven is gently whispering to your spirit right now, and this is the crucial part that will ultimately determine whether you step into everything that's been meticulously prepared for you or whether you remain stuck, circling the same mountain again and again. Forgiveness isn't optional for the chosen. It's the absolute key that unlocks your next glorious dimension. I can already feel some of you resisting that truth. But you don't know what they did to me, you might be thinking. You don't know what they put me through. You don't know how deeply that betrayal cut. You're absolutely right. I don't know every single detail of your specific story, but heaven does. Every single moment is carefully recorded. Every single wound is witnessed. And God is still saying, forgive, not because they necessarily deserve it, but because you deserve to be free from the crippling weight of unforgiveness. Listen to me with unwavering focus. The unforgiveness you're currently holding on to, the bitter root that you're constantly watering with painful memories of what was done to you, that's not protecting you in any way. It's actually poisoning you from the inside out. It's the very thing that's standing firmly between where you currently are and where heaven is so eagerly trying to take you. And the enemy knows this all too well. That's precisely why he keeps relentlessly replaying those hurtful memories, keeps constantly bringing up exactly what they said, what they did, how they looked at you. He knows that if he can successfully keep you tethered to the offense, he can effectively delay your ultimate elevation. But this is absolutely your defining moment to decisively cut that cord. Not for them, but entirely for you. Forgiveness doesn't mean that what they did was okay or acceptable in any way. It simply means that you vehemently refuse to let their past actions continue to define your future. It means you're boldly taking your power back from the past and strategically investing it in your divine purpose. It means you fully trust that God's complete vindication is far more complete and satisfying than any petty revenge you could ever orchestrate on your own. And here's what powerfully happens when you make that courageous choice. When you willingly release them from the imagined debt they owe you, you immediately start to rise. Not slowly or gradually, but rapidly and exponentially. Because forgiveness effortlessly removes the heavy weight that's been holding you firmly at ground level. It's like cutting the sandbags from a hot air balloon. Suddenly, you're ascending at a breathtaking speed that shocks even you. The doors that were previously closed begin to swing wide open. The valuable connections that were strangely blocked start flowing freely. The resources that were inexplicably delayed begin to be released. The clarity that was previously clouded starts to crystallize, and you begin to confidently walk in an authority that simply wasn't accessible while you were still stubbornly holding on to what they did. This is the profound freedom that heaven has been carefully preparing you for. This is precisely what all the testing was ultimately about. God knew you would inevitably face betrayal, knew you would be thoroughly investigated, knew you would be misunderstood and misrepresented along the way. And every single bit of it was divinely designed to prove that when you arrived at this pivotal moment, this crucial choice point, you would respond remarkably differently than the world expects. You would consciously choose forgiveness. You would passionately choose freedom. You would deliberately choose your divine destiny over your fleeting desire for revenge. And that very choice, chosen one, is precisely what unequivocally separates you from the crowd. That's what distinctly marks you as truly selected for a sacred and significant assignment. Anyone can easily love when they're already loved. Anyone can freely bless when they're already blessed. But to willingly release those who actively came against you, to genuinely pray for those who rigorously investigated you, to speak life and encouragement over those who fully expected your downfall, that's the unmistakable character of someone heaven can truly trust with authentic authority. Now, let's talk directly about what's coming for you, because you absolutely need to be fully prepared for the accelerated pace that follows this level of profound obedience. When you forgive at this deep level, when you willingly release people who genuinely wounded you to their very core, heaven interprets that as a clear sign that you're finally ready for everything that's been carefully held in reserve just for you. Things are truly about to move fast, faster than you can reasonably plan for, faster than you can conceivably control. Incredible opportunities will suddenly present themselves with very short windows of time. Crucial decisions will urgently need to be made with limited information. Powerful connections will spontaneously form that seem almost too good to be true. And in the middle of all of it, you'll absolutely need to remember this very moment, this powerful message, this profound clarity that you're currently receiving. Because here's what commonly happens in accelerated seasons. The enemy craftily sends confusion to make you second-guess the divine doors that are swinging wide open right in front of you. He'll relentlessly remind you of past failures. He'll meticulously highlight your perceived inadequacies. He'll strategically bring people into your life who openly question whether you're genuinely ready, whether you truly heard God accurately, whether you're really qualified for what you're boldly stepping into. And you absolutely need to know right now, before any of that happens, that those are all calculated lies specifically designed to slow you down. You are undeniably ready, not because you're perfect in any way, but because you've been meticulously prepared. Every single test, every painful trial, every lonely season where you sincerely wondered if God had somehow forgotten about you, that was all deliberate preparation. That was all strategic training. That was the divine equipping you for a powerful dimension that requires far more than fleeting talent. It demands unshakable character. It requires unwavering faith that's been rigorously tested by fire and emerged completely refined. You've been through the refiner's fire, chosen one. You've been in the furnace long enough. And what's now powerfully emerging isn't the same person who initially went in. You've been completely refined. You've been perfectly realigned. You've been powerfully redefined by the very process that was originally meant to break you. And the people who are about to witness this incredible emergence, they're simply not going to recognize you. Not just because you've changed externally, though that very well might happen too, but because the undeniable authority you're going to carry, the unwavering confidence that's going to radiate from you, the profound peace that's going to steadfastly surround you even in the midst of utter chaos, that's supernatural. That's the undeniable evidence of someone who's been intimately with God in the secret place and emerged with heaven's official seal of approval. Your righteousness is now about to shine brightly like the radiant dawn. Not self-righteousness, not the shallow kind of righteousness that loudly announces itself and constantly needs external validation, but the genuine kind that simply is. The authentic kind that people immediately recognize even when they don't fully understand it. The sincere kind that makes even your enemies deeply respect you. The compelling kind that causes people who initially came against you to eventually and humbly admit that they were undeniably wrong. Because here's the beautiful truth about divine vindication. It doesn't require your constant defense. It doesn't need your detailed explanation. It simply and powerfully unfolds as truth always inevitably does. What was once hidden ultimately comes to light. What was consistently misunderstood finally gets clarified. What was unfairly misrepresented is eventually corrected. And you don't have to do anything except stand tall in the integrity you've been meticulously maintaining all along. Stand tall and unwavering, chosen one. The irrefutable evidence is rapidly coming. The complete vindication is steadily unfolding. The breakthrough you've been praying for is closer than you even realize. But there's something profoundly important you need to understand about this brand new dimension you're boldly entering. With increased authority always comes increased responsibility. With greater visibility inevitably comes greater scrutiny. With exponentially more influence certainly comes more accountability. And heaven is meticulously preparing you for absolutely all of it by showing you right now what's required of you. Profound wisdom, authentic humility, and an unshakable commitment to the very core principles that brought you safely through. Don't get recklessly drunk on the sudden success that's undeniably coming. Don't let the hard-earned vindication go to your head in any way. Don't ever start believing that you're somehow inherently special because of what you've bravely accomplished. You are undeniably special because of who specifically called you to this path. The incredible gifts and talents and unprecedented opportunities that are now flowing your way are simply powerful tools entrusted to you for a profound purpose that's far bigger than your personal comfort. You're certainly not being elevated simply so you can have a better personal life, though your life will undeniably improve in countless ways. You're certainly not being vindicated solely so that people finally know that you were right all along, though they absolutely will. You're being deliberately positioned because heaven has critically important assignments that require someone who's been thoroughly tested and consistently remained faithful. Someone who's been deeply betrayed and courageously chose forgiveness anyway. Someone who's been rigorously investigated and was ultimately found to be completely genuine and authentic. That's unequivocally you. That's precisely who you've been bravely becoming through every painful chapter you desperately wished you could skip. And now it's finally time to confidently step into the fullness of everything that the entire process was carefully preparing you for. So, allow me to give you some crucial instructions for what's specifically ahead, because you're absolutely going to need them. When the long-awaited doors start swinging wide open, move deliberately and quickly, but don't ever rush. There's a critical difference. Rushing is moving impulsively out of frantic anxiety. Moving quickly is simply responding to divine timing with unwavering readiness. You've undeniably been made ready. So, when you clearly recognize heaven's very hand opening a new door for you, confidently walk right through it. You'll unmistakably know it's a divine door because it will completely align with your true calling, even if it significantly stretches your comfort zone. It will certainly challenge you to grow and evolve, but it won't ever violate your deeply held values. It will absolutely require unwavering faith, but it won't ever demand compromise. And there will always be a deep sense of peace that powerfully underlies it. Even if there's also a bit of initial fear, that peace will be your ultimate confirmation. That's the Holy Spirit gently whispering, "This is absolutely the right path. Confidently walk in it." Conversely, when doors present themselves that appear good on the surface but completely lack that profound sense of peace, that require you to bend or compromise your deeply held principles or rush your crucial discernment, those aren't divine doors at all. They're merely cleverly disguised distractions. The enemy is undeniably clever. He knows he can't actually stop your inevitable ascension, so he'll strategically try to divert it in subtle ways. He'll deceptively offer you attractive shortcuts that inevitably lead to dead ends, incredible opportunities that superficially glitter but aren't actually gold. Powerful connections that superficially promise much but ultimately deliver very little except immense heartache. Stay deeply rooted. Stay consistently grounded. Stay inextricably connected to the divine source that's bravely bringing you through. Your heartfelt prayer life that steadfastly sustained you in the challenging wilderness is precisely the same prayer life that will keep you humbly grounded in the coming palace. Don't ever abandon the core spiritual disciplines that powerfully forged you just because the current season is shifting from intense testing to powerful testimony. And here's something else profoundly important you absolutely need to hear and embrace. Stay unbelievably generous. When the undeniable increase comes, and it will undoubtedly come, resolutely resist the strong temptation to selfishly hoard it, to protect it out of fear, to tightly close your hand around what God has so freely opened his generous hand to freely give you. You are undeniably blessed in order to be a blessing to others. You are undeniably delivered in order to become a deliverer for countless others. You are undoubtedly being vindicated not just for your personal sake, but so that your compelling story becomes a lifeline of hope for countless others who are currently precisely where you bravely used to be. There are undeniably people carefully watching your life right now who don't even fully realize that they're watching you so closely. They keenly observe how you consistently respond to intense pressure. They subtly notice how you consistently treat other people, even when you're being unfairly mistreated. They're consciously measuring their own fragile faith against the unwavering faith that they consistently witness in you during your hardest and most challenging seasons. And when your hard-earned vindication finally comes, when your profound righteousness radiantly shines, when the undeniable truth is finally revealed and you're powerfully exalted, those very people are going to be significantly strengthened in their own unique journeys. Your powerful testimony isn't just about you in any way. It's powerfully about the countless others who will inevitably hear it and bravely decide to hold on for just one more challenging day, to willingly forgive just one more time, to fully trust God through just one more deeply confusing chapter. You're certainly not just being vindicated. You're being strategically positioned as undeniable evidence that God still powerfully defends his chosen ones. So, bravely carry that incredible responsibility well. Deliberately let the coming blessings make you demonstrably better, not deeply bitter. Purposefully let the earned vindication make you truly grateful, not arrogantly prideful. Intentionally let the long-awaited breakthrough make you even more deeply dependent on God, not even more confident in your own limited abilities. Because the very moment you begin to arrogantly believe that it was solely your strength that brought you bravely through, you immediately step out from under the protective covering that's been consistently shielding you. Stay intentionally humble. Stay passionately hungry for more of God. Stay intimately close to the still, small voice that's been guiding you faithfully all along. The very same God who powerfully brought you out of the challenging wilderness is precisely the same God who will undoubtedly keep you thriving in the long-awaited promised land. Don't ever change your deep devotion simply because the scenery suddenly changes. Now, I fully realize that some of you hearing this message are still actively struggling to believe that it specifically applies to you. You're critically thinking about your past mistakes, your perceived failures, the countless times you didn't consistently pray enough or fully trust enough or actively act faithfully enough. You're genuinely wondering if maybe this powerful message is actually meant for someone more qualified, someone more outwardly spiritual, someone who didn't stumble and fall as much as you undeniably did. Let me definitively settle that internal debate right now. This powerful message is absolutely meant specifically for you. Chosen doesn't mean perfect in any way. It means divinely purposed. You were specifically selected not because you somehow had it all perfectly together, but precisely because God saw something deeply valuable within you that was absolutely worth refining. The challenging struggles you bravely went through didn't somehow disqualify you from anything. They actually developed and strengthened you in countless ways. Every single time you deliberately got back up after inevitably falling, you were undeniably learning resilience. Every single time you fervently prayed through intense doubt, you were actively building unwavering faith. Every single time you consciously chose to do what was right after initially choosing to do what was wrong, you were actively establishing steadfast character. And absolutely all of that, every single imperfect step along the way, was an indispensable part of the unique journey that has now bravely brought you to precisely this very moment. So, deliberately stop disqualifying yourself from the incredible promises heaven is now so powerfully declaring over your life. Purposefully stop focusing so intently on where you tragically fell short and instead start fully recognizing just how incredibly far you've bravely come. Intentionally stop dwelling on your perceived inadequacies and instead deliberately start seeing the undeniable divine adequacy that's been completely covering you all along. You are undeniably enough. not because of anything you've bravely done on your own, but entirely because of whose you are. You definitively belong to the Most High God, and that powerful identity absolutely trumps every single insecurity, every painful past failure, every misleading reason the enemy desperately gives you to doubt your divine calling. This is undeniably your time. This is undeniably your season. This is absolutely the defining moment when everything finally shifts from deep confusion to profound clarity, from persistent questions to satisfying answers, from intense pressure to powerful purpose. And you're absolutely going to look back on this exact moment, this powerful message, this significant day, and immediately recognize it as the crucial turning point, because something undeniably significant is now happening deep within your spirit. Even as these powerful words freely pour over you, old and limiting mindsets are now audibly breaking. Deceptive lies you've long believed about yourself are now being openly exposed. Firm limitations you've long accepted are now being decisively shattered, and a powerful new awareness is steadily emerging within you. A profound understanding that you've actually been carrying undeniable divine favor all along. You just tragically couldn't clearly see it through the thick cloud of confusion that the enemy had cleverly wrapped around your perception. But the stifling clouds are now rapidly clearing. The undeniable truth is steadily emerging. And what's being brilliantly revealed is utterly breathtaking. You are undeniably exactly who God has always said that you are. Chosen, called, covered, and now about to be undeniably vindicated in front of everyone who ever dared to doubt you. The investigator who initially came solely looking for darkness instead unexpectedly found your brilliant light. And that radiant light is now undoubtedly about to shine so brightly that people simply won't be able to even look at you without clearly seeing the undeniable divine hand that's been powerfully upon your life all along. They'll desperately search for logical, natural explanations for your sudden and undeniable elevation, for the unprecedented doors that suddenly opened, for the powerful connections that quickly formed, for the much-needed resources that were suddenly released. And they absolutely won't find any plausible explanations, because what's undeniably happening in your life right now simply isn't natural at all. It's powerfully supernatural. Heaven is now about to make such a public display of undeniable favor on your life that even the most hardened skeptics will have no choice but to humbly acknowledge that something far greater is powerfully at work here. Not in any way to glorify you, but to profoundly glorify the very God who so carefully chose you, who so meticulously prepared you, who so completely refined you, and who is now undeniably ready to brilliantly reveal you. But all of this hinges critically on one crucial thing: your steadfast willingness to genuinely forgive, to wholeheartedly release, to resolutely let go of all the deep offense and instead firmly grab hold of your divine destiny. And I profoundly sense in my spirit right now that some of you are courageously making that pivotal decision even as you intently hear this. You're resolutely choosing profound freedom over festering bitterness. You're bravely choosing your bright future over your painful past. You're wisely choosing to fully trust God's complete vindication over your consuming need for shallow revenge. And for those of you who are courageously making that life-altering choice right now, let me boldly prophesy over your life. Within mere days, you're undoubtedly going to see powerful evidence of this profound shift. A deeply meaningful conversation will unexpectedly happen that wouldn't have otherwise happened. A long-awaited door will suddenly crack open that was previously tightly bolted shut. A person will proactively reach out who represents a powerful connection you've been fervently praying for. An unexpected check will miraculously arrive that you weren't even anticipating. A viable solution will clearly present itself to a deeply challenging problem that's been persistently plaguing you. These undeniably won't be mere coincidences. They'll be unmistakable confirmations. Heaven's unwavering way of powerfully saying, I clearly saw your courageous obedience. I directly witnessed your powerful choice to generously forgive. And now watch in amazement what I will undoubtedly do with someone whose brave heart is completely aligned with mine. The undeniable acceleration is now clearly beginning. Can you even feel it deep within your spirit? There's an unmistakable quickening within you, a holy anticipation demonstrably building. That's certainly not crippling anxiety. That's undeniable alignment. Your powerful spirit is clearly recognizing that everything is now about to profoundly shift from patiently waiting to confidently walking, from long-awaited promise to tangible possession, from bold prophecy to remarkable fulfillment. Get undeniably ready. Immediately get your house in undeniable order. Purposefully get your brave heart completely prepared, because the life you've been desperately praying for is now about to powerfully collide with the very moment you're currently bravely standing in. And when those two undeniable things finally meet and powerfully align, the earth-shattering impact is going to be utterly undeniable. You didn't just randomly find this profound message by simple accident. Heaven itself carefully orchestrated it. This is undoubtedly your divine appointment. This is undoubtedly your powerful prophetic word. This is absolutely your critical moment to decisively choose precisely who you're going to bravely be on the other side of the deep betrayal, on the other side of the intense investigation, on the other side of the paralyzing confusion. Will you bravely choose to be deeply bitter or undeniably better? Powerfully victimized or undeniably victorious? Permanently bound by the painful past or bravely liberated into your brilliant future? The profound choice has undeniably always been completely yours to freely make. And I undeniably believe you're bravely choosing exceptionally well. I undeniably believe you're bravely choosing profound freedom. I undeniably believe you're bravely choosing to confidently walk in the fullness of everything God has been so carefully preparing you for. So, bravely lift your head high, resolutely square your shoulders, purposefully set your face like flint toward the incredible future that's so eagerly calling your very name. You are undeniably vindicated. You are undeniably chosen. You are undeniably covered. And what's undeniably coming your way is undoubtedly going to completely exceed every expectation, decisively surpass every wildest dream, and fully fulfill every powerful promise that's ever been boldly spoken specifically over your precious life. The powerful evidence is undoubtedly already on its way. The life-altering breakthrough is demonstrably closer than you can currently imagine. And the absolute best part of all is that you're undeniably finally ready to fully receive it. Not the old version of you who undoubtedly would have been completely destroyed by this profound level of incredible blessing, but the refined version of you, the realigned version of you, the version of you who's been bravely through the refiner's fire and has emerged undeniably carrying the profound glory of God. This is undoubtedly your season, chosen one. Bravely walk powerfully in it with unwavering confidence. Bravely walk purposefully in it with profound wisdom. Bravely walk powerfully in it with the unshakable assurance that the one who courageously began this undeniably good work deep within you is undoubtedly faithful to fully complete it in a way that far exceeds your wildest dreams. Heaven is undoubtedly watching. Countless angels are demonstrably ready. And your hard-earned vindication is undeniably unfolding precisely according to impeccable divine timing. Trust the challenging process. Trust the perfect timing. Trust the powerful God who's been undeniably faithful to you through every single painful chapter. Your profound righteousness is now undoubtedly about to radiantly shine like the beautiful dawn. Stand unwavering and undeniably tall. The powerful evidence is undeniably coming.